Man, if you have in your hand some money to invest, to use, to give like a present for somebody in his bar mitzvah, what would you do with that?
There's no doubts that one of the best investment today is in the Israeli economy, which is probably one of the leading economies in the world. And if I had $100, I would, and I need to give a present to a mitzvah boy or bat mitzvah girl, there's no doubts that I would definitely give them Israel bonds.
Why would you give that? Many think we're used to giving in a bar mitzvah, a pen, a wallet. Why to give an Israel bond that is something that for so many people will be like, what is that?
So Israel bonds is an Israeli government bond that plows back into the Israeli economy and ensures the strength of the Israeli economy. And that's why it's much better to give somebody Israel bond and show them the connection with their heritage and with the country than just give them any present that they're going to be not doing very much with it in the long run. And here they have a continuous connection with their roots and the Jewish heritage by strengthening the Israeli economy and Israel in general.
And it help for the future for me. When I can buy something else from Israel, but why a bond? It gives me something else. Let's say like an investment. It's also a good investment.
No, of course it's a good investment because at the end of the day, when you build your portfolio, you want to make sure that you've got some solid investments. Israel bonds is a very solid investment. You're going to be getting interest every 6 months or a year, depending on the kind of bond that you buy. So there's no doubts about it that as an investment, it's one of the most solid investment that you can acquire today.
When you say solid, it's also secure. It's sure I'm going to get that investment, or it's fluctuating, or it depends on.
It's a good question, and remember that at the end of the day, our bond is not traded. So if you bought $1,000 of a bond, you will definitely get $1,000 back plus interest. It doesn't fluctuate. That's number one. Number two, Israel has never defaulted on its bonds. In the 65 years that bonds have existed, it has never defaulted. It has always paid principal and interest on time. And when you look at the world today with so much uncertainty, there's very few investments that are going to give you that kind of solid return and always returning your capital.
I'm sure somebody say, all right, you have always paid. It's every time secure. It's secure also when there is a war. It's not like in many other countries when there is a devaluation or something. They say, no, it doesn't. It doesn't count in here. In Israel, it's the same.
Yes, it's interesting that even at times of war, and you, as we all are aware, if we look at the history of Israel, we had a number of wars, a number of mini wars. The Israeli economy has withstood that crisis, and even though it might take a couple of months to come back again, we have never had a situation where, as a result of a crisis, our shares, our bonds, or any of our investments have become, worth less or have lost 30 or 50%.
And tell me something. You say you invest in Israel. If I buy Israel bonds, if I get out in Israel bonds, what do Israel do with the money? It's for an organization called Israel bonds, or it's for the state of Israel?
So it's for the state of Israel.
Right.
It goes into the Israeli budget, but generally you will find that money gets channeled into infrastructure, desalination, high tech, the chief scientist. Some of the most interesting areas where Israel has excelled, and this is why the Israeli economy today is regarded as one of the best in the world, because of the right infrastructure and other investment that, for instance, in water has made it self-sufficient today. Whereas 20, 30 years ago, we had shortages of water. Today, Israel's got plenty of water.
When somebody gives to Israel, we are talking about the heritage. When somebody gives to Israel, it's most of the time I give, and I can see something that they build with my money, but I don't get anything in return. It's the same. Here we get an investment. It's like that. I invest, I help Israel, and I also get something in.
Yes. I think at the end of the day, you want to become a stakeholder in the Israeli economy. From your point of view, it's an advantage because you get this interest, and you can use that interest later on to donate to various causes that you like within Israel. But at the end of the day, it's an investment. We want you as a stakeholder in Israel. We do believe that the Israeli economy is strong enough not just to get donations, but we're quite happy to have real investments. And not everyone can buy a big bank, but everyone can become a stakeholder. And I think it sends a very strong message across the rest of the world that we intend to continue to invest in Israel, irrespective of all of the various movements that's going up today that are very anti-Israel in their nature, such as the BDS movement.
It helps also against the BDS. You're talking about the BDS. It's a way to say no to the BDS. It's a way also
Yeah,
to...
definitely, because at the end of the day, the main agenda of the BDS is to bring Israel down economically. So they talk about divestments. And we say, no, do not. Our main message is invest in Israel. Become a part of the Israeli economy. And I think that is a very strong message to the BDS movement to repudiate their whole agenda of divestment of the Israeli economy. And as a matter of fact, if you look at the Israeli economy, BDS started in 2005. It has had very little impact on the Israeli economy. It has a little bit on the cultural and university level, but on the economic level, it has had an almost insignificant effect. And I think that Israel bonds has helped tremendously in that respect.
Tell me something. We started like if it's a good present, but it can be many other things when you buy Israel bonds. It's for everybody. It's just to give like a present, or it's for everybody to buy Israel bonds. And
I would separate it into two categories. One category is the presents for bar mitzvah, weddings, and everything to ensure that people are connected to their homeland, to their heritage, etc. But it's also a very good investment. I've got hundreds and thousands of people that are investing on a daily basis in Israel bonds because they see that as a very good investment. And it's better than many of the other investment houses that offer you alternative investments.
You can compare the Israel bonds with other, like the, I don't know, trust in all around the world. It's better than the other ones, or?
Definitely. Listen, I obviously, it depends on the risk appetite that you have. But if you are interested in a very solid investment, you can compare it with almost any other solid investments today all over the world. And I can tell you that our return are comparable and competitive with all of the other investments that you've done.
And with the advantage that you are helping Israel also.
Of course. At the end of the day, as I always call Israel Bonds, it's a brokerage firm, but it's a brokerage firm with a Jewish heart. And that Jewish heart is the one that's pumping in us and ensuring that we are helping the state of Israel to continue to be strong and withstand the attacks that are growing day by day all over the world.
Thank you very much. Something else you would like to say to all? We are talking about young people, we are talking about new people, we are talking about all other people. What would you say for them about Israel, about the Israel bonds?
The only thing I can say is this. We sell about over 1.3 billion a year, and we intend to increase that to 1.5 billion. Help us together to ensure that we get to those goals so that the Israeli economy will remain strong and that you all will feel that you are part of the exciting journey of the Jewish people in its rebirth of Eretz Israel and Israel.
Thank you very much.